Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Leo and Aquarius on Fridays. Also, the deck that I'm using today is called the Deviant Moon Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, my information is in the description below. Also, I do want to give you guys the heads up that sometimes the cards like to flip over in the deck. I do see them. However, I really only take cards that jump out like these ones have. And usually if they jump out in groups that are a little bit too big, I'll go ahead. Oh man, we have a card that fell out. But like I was saying, I'll go ahead and put them back into the deck and continue shuffling. But my main goal here is to get you guys roughly 8 or 9 cards. I'm going to go ahead and take the card that fell down. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take this 4 of Swords as well because, okay, these 3 cards feel like they're meant to be in the reading. This 4 of Swords, this Wheel of Fortune, and this Ace of Wands in reverse. But like I was saying, my main goal was to get you guys 8 or 9 cards, but now that we have your cards ready, we can get started on your reading. However, I do want to take a quick second to remind you guys that in case you enjoy the reading or if it resonates with you guys, the best way to let me know is by leaving a like or a comment, but your overall energy is actually really good. You have the 4 of Pentacles, or sorry, the 4 of Wands. So the 4 of Wands, it talks about commitment. And I think that definitely for some of you guys, you might be seeing commitment in a relationship, but I'm also getting commitment to an idea, which is a very interesting interpretation. But that's the energy that I'm getting for sure. So let me just talk about those 2 camps. You have the camp number 1, which would be the relationship, and then you have, yeah, like I was saying, you have the commitment to the idea and a commitment in a relationship. But in the relationship, I'm getting that for some of you, definitely you're seeing a level up in some kind of a connection that you have with someone else. I think that perhaps you were like going steady or just kind of dating or whatever, and now things are like starting to get a little bit more serious, and you're starting to see that you can really count on this person and that they're going to be in for the long haul. And I think that that's really good for a lot of you. And then the second thing is commitment to an idea, which I think that for a lot of you guys, you were kind of going back and forth on an idea, especially because we have this 2 of Swords. But it might not have been just you necessarily. It might have been something that it was like you needed a committee of people to sort of give you the okay. But now that we have the 4 of Swords, or sorry, the 4 of Wands here as your overall energy, it's like, okay, the okay is there, and now we can move forward with the idea. But we have here the Magician and the 2 of Swords. 4 of Swords is over here, and for some reason I keep talking about it. I keep mentioning it by name. So I'm just going to take a quick second to talk about the 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords is the card of rest, which means you guys need to take a break. Also, I just looked at the timer on the video and it was at 333, which I believe is the angel number of, mind, body, and spirit. I highly recommend you guys to do your own research. But as far as I understand, whenever you see the repeating 3, it means that you guys need to take a little bit of time to really think about how you are connected spiritually, physically, and mentally. So this could be like meditating. This could be just taking some time to manifest. Something like this could also work very well for your spirituality, reading tarot or whatever really just interests you. I think that for a lot of you guys, you need to have, we have this tendency where we tend to neglect a part of ourselves to work in favor of working on another part, and then that kind of catches up to us. So I feel like this is talking about balance. Take some time for yourself, take some time to rest and really recuperate. But like I was saying, you have the Magician here and the 2 of Swords. So the Magician is manifestation, is power, is the ability to make things happen. The Magician is the master of all 4 elements: the Wands, the Swords, the Cups, and the Pentacles. So what happens? he's able to make anything happen, right? He's able to conjure up anything from thin air. So this is you. This is your power. This is the energy that you're in. You're able to make things happen right now. The issue is that you have this Two of Swords. So it feels like you have the strongest power in the world, but you can't use it. Something here is keeping you from, moving in the way that you want to, because the Two of Swords talks about indecision, indecisiveness, and inaction. So to me, it feels like you guys are really having a hard time deciding what it is that you need to do or how you need to do it, or having somebody give you the okay to be able to do it. I'm really getting maybe like apartment leases or something like that, and it's like you're kind of, banking on the fact that somebody else will, be cooperative with you, and sometimes that's not always the case. Maybe you have to sort of run things through another person, and that's what's making things, take a lot longer, sort of beyond, it's just taking things a lot longer. But it's very interesting because I see the Tower here with the Emperor in reverse. So it almost feels like there is some interesting interpretations of like masculinity or even like fatherhood, because that's kind of the energy that I get with the Emperor here. Normally I would have said something like, oh, well, this is like the divine masculine energy, but it feels just like general masculine energy. In reverse, it feels like someone is kind of over focused on their toxic masculinity and just trying to, I am the big man, I feel big, right? And it's very condescending towards you and the other people around them. But with this Tower card, we know that whatever this energy is of like the toxic masculinity, it's going to come crashing down, because that's what the Tower card does, right? The Tower, the reason it comes crashing down is not because of the lightning that strikes it, or in this case, like the laser beam from the sort of Death Star looking thing. It's because it was built on a faulty foundation, and it was not able to withstand what it was supposed to withstand, and that's why it crumbled. And that's actually a good thing, right? So unfortunately, the act of it crumbling is painful and sometimes very difficult. But once we have everything torn down, we're able to build something even better, even stronger. And that's eventually the point that we want to get to, so that you guys are able to have that Tower, but it's built on a powerful foundation, on a stable foundation. None of this toxic masculinity energy, healthy, genuine boundaries energy, all that stuff that you need here. And it's very interesting because we have the King of Swords and the Eight of Wands. So the King of Swords is somebody who can be very intelligent, very smart. Oftentimes this person feels like a lawyer, or some kind of a person who does something with their mind, right? Lawyers, philosophers, those kinds of people are the King of Swords. So this person, even though they are very smart, and very good at things in the mental realm, some places where they tend to struggle is the more emotional realm. So I think that even though this person means well, I think that they have a little bit difficulty expressing themselves and their emotions in a way that might be very effective for you. And this might go hand in hand with this toxic masculinity energy, right? So this person, instead of, trying to find their sort of cup energy and their King of Cups kind of energy, they're trying to hide their emotions away, sort of taking them compartmentalizing them or putting them away altogether, and that's why we end up with this this Emperor in reverse energy that needs to be taken out of the equation by the Tower. But either way, we're seeing communication here. So like I was saying, the King of Cups represents everything that's mental, and part of that is communication. So I'm thinking that for a lot of you guys, you're going to see a lot more communication with this person in a way that's more emotional, in a way that's more intuitive, and just all around more effective for you, I feel. And, like I was saying, I'm definitely getting romantic vibes here, because we have the Four of Wands, which is talking about commitment, and then we have sort of this Eight of Wands and this person figure here that I feel is almost like somebody that's coming in with a message. Even though it's not a knight or anything, it feels like there is either some kind of romantic message or some kind of business kind message that they're saying, yes, I'm ready to make this plan A and we're ready to move forward, kind of a message. And I'm thinking that you guys are definitely in different situations where you're trying to get things to happen and you're trying to get pieces to move. It feels like you guys are kind of the masterminds behind this big old plan that you have. And in order for that to happen, all these parts of the movement, all these moving parts need to work in a certain way, if that makes sense. but I'm definitely getting that you guys are sort of like the masterminds, the powerful people behind the scenes, because you have this Magician card, right? This to me reeks of sort of Wizard of Oz, where he's, you know, controlling everything from behind the scenes. Also, I'm looking at my clock right now at the real time, and it's at 11:11, so that might be a powerful message for some of you guys. I think that some of you guys are seeing synchronicities. But like I was saying, we have the Chariot and also the Ace of Wands in reverse. So the Ace of Wands in reverse to me feels like a missed opportunity. That's usually what all the wands will represent. I think that in your mind, things could have gone a certain way, and that was probably plan A, but then, you know, things took a change and made things a little bit more difficult, and things, or maybe not even difficult, but just like different. So you had to plan for whatever this contingency was. So we also have the Chariot here, which now would probably be a good time to talk about the signs. We have the Chariot, which is representative of Cancer, and then we have the Emperor, which is representative of Aries. So for some of you guys, you might be dealing with those signs, but if you're not, that's not necessarily a big deal. But like I was saying, the Chariot talks about movement. So I think that that's either movement in a physical sense or a metaphysical sense. So I'm thinking that a lot of you guys, especially, and this isn't mutually exclusive, but I'm getting a lot of you guys are having like spiritual awakenings and really moving forward in your spirituality, right? The fact that you're watching like tarot videos at all means that you guys are probably having some kind of a, you know, more open relationship with your intuition and your spirituality, right? So there's that. And then there's also physical movement. So I'm thinking for a lot of you guys, you're moving in the literal sense to either open up doors in your life or really just kind of get things, maybe just like change of pace, I'm hearing, because like the Chariot is kind of a car energy. So there is that element to it. But it's very interesting because you have this Ace of Wands. It feels like this has been delayed in some kind of way or canceled altogether. And I'm thinking that you guys, even though, you know, there's this Wands in reverse where it's like, okay, things didn't quite happen the way that they were supposed to. Because the Ace of Wands is passion, is fiery sort of motivation or whatever. It feels like you guys are still getting these like passive benefits from this Chariot energy. Even though it wasn't sort of that active, like, movement, like, things didn't quite work. The best way I can describe this is, like, you had a plan A, but even though things didn't go exactly according to plan, you still got further along than if nothing had happened at all. But either way, I think that your success in your magic here is going to come from you taking that time to rest. I think that if you take that time to rest and really just like let your thoughts do their thing, put things on the back burner, and really just like go through the motions for a little bit day to day and just rest up, I think that you're going to see that things are going to manifest in an odd way. And I don't mean that in like a negative or bad way. I just mean that like oddly enough, things are going to start manifesting without you even really doing much about it. And that's a part of manifestation that people really don't talk about a whole lot, is when you've done your manifestation, you've put it out in the universe, and then you let go of it, right? And I feel like that's the part where you guys are going to get the most results right now. And the reason I know that is because you have the Wheel of Fortune in the upright, which is a great sign to have, right? So the Wheel of Fortune talks about, you know, fortune, for lack of a better word. When it's in the upright, we know that you're in an upswing. So definitely any areas where you felt like negative or unlucky are going to turn around, and you're going to feel really blessed and really lucky in those areas. And I also feel like, in particular for you guys, you're going to see some kind of a money increase. Also, I'm looking at the heart here, and I'm getting it for some of you, definitely, like there's a broken heart here. Definitely there's going to be some kind of increase in love, like the love sector of your life, because like I was saying, we have this Four of Wands commitment card as your overall energy. We have the Eight of Wands, which I forgot to mention earlier, is oftentimes called the arrows of love. So we have like a lot of love, but it's not really in the foreground. It's like in the background. It's like you kind of, it's like if you're cooking and you have like a slow roast going, and then while that's doing stuff, you're doing other stuff to get ready for dinner or whatever, right? So it's like, this is kind of like you have passive love benefits coming in, but then you have all this active stuff that you're focusing on, like main, that are doing, right? So you have this healing that's going on here. You have this power that you're using to get things done. You have these sort of like business proposals or whatever, communication, like all that's good stuff that's coming in. And this Wheel of Fortune is serving to really facilitate that and get that going. So, Aquarius, this is your reading. It was extra long, and I hope you enjoyed. But if you did, please leave a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said earlier, I upload my new videos for Aquarius on Fridays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.